the Garden of Time. In the heart of an ancient, forgotten forest, where the trees whispered secrets of the old world, there existed a hidden garden, known only to a select few. This mystical place, veiled by the mists of time and guarded by the forces of nature, was called the Garden of Time. It was said that within its borders, time did not flow as it did in the outside world. Instead, it danced to a rhythm of its own, allowing those who entered to revisit the pivotal moments of their lives, albeit at a significant cost. Our story begins with Eli, a young and curious soul, burdened by a past decision that altered the course of his life. He had heard the legends of the garden from his grandmother, who spoke of it on stormy nights when the wind howled like spirits in mourning. She told him of its beauty, its dangers, and its power to change one's fate. However, she always warned him, "Every visit to the garden demands a price, a piece of your time in this world." Eli's heart ached for a chance to undo a mistake that had cost him dearly. Driven by a mix of desperation and hope, he embarked on a journey to find this enchanted place. Guided by the tales of old and the subtle signs hidden in the whispers of the wind, he traveled deeper into the forest than any had dared before. After days of wandering, just as despair began to take hold, Eli stumbled upon an ancient archway, overgrown with ivy and moss, marking the entrance to the garden. With a deep breath, he stepped through, and the world behind him seemed to fade away. Inside, the garden was breathtaking, unlike anything Eli had ever seen. Time seemed to stand still, yet move all around him. Flowers bloomed in brilliant colors, their petals shimmering with a light that seemed to pulse with life. Streams flowed gently, their waters clear as crystal, and in their depths, scenes from Eli's past flickered like memories. As he ventured further, the true nature of the garden revealed itself. It was a tapestry of life, woven with the threads of countless souls who had sought its power. Eli felt the weight of his own desires, the longing for a second chance, but also the fear of the price he would have to pay. In the heart of the garden, he found the timekeeper, a being as old as the garden itself. The timekeeper spoke in a voice that echoed like the wind through the leaves. "Welcome, Eli. You have come seeking to change your past, but remember, the cost of revisiting a moment is a moment of your own life. Choose wisely, for some paths lead to joy, while others to sorrow." Eli stood before the timekeeper, his heart heavy with decision. He knew the moment he wished to return to, the mistake he yearned to correct. Yet, he also understood the gravity of the timekeeper's warning. With a resolve born of both fear and hope, he made his choice, stepping into the stream of time that flowed at the timekeeper's feet, ready to face his past and the cost of his desire. As Eli's story unfolds in the Garden of Time, we are reminded of the delicate balance between our choices and their consequences, and the universal quest for redemption and healing. The journey through the garden is just beginning, and what lies ahead is a tale of discovery, sacrifice, and the timeless nature of the human spirit. As Eli submerged himself into the stream of time, the world around him blurred and shifted. He felt as though he were being carried by the currents of destiny itself, back to a day that had haunted him for years. He emerged on the outskirts of his childhood village, the sights and sounds vividly familiar, yet imbued with the strange, ethereal quality of the garden's magic. It was the day he had made the choice that would change his life forever. He watched, as if from a distance, yet acutely aware of every detail, as his younger self interacted with the world around him. Eli's heart ached with the knowledge of what was to come, the words he wished he could shout across the void of time to change the course of events. But he knew he could not interact with his past in such a way. The garden's rules were clear. He could only observe and, at the crucial moment, make a different choice. The moment approached, a crossroads of fate where a single decision had led to loss and regret. Eli's younger self was about to embark on a journey with friends, a journey that would end in tragedy for one. With the wisdom of hindsight, Eli saw the chain of decisions that had led to the outcome, and he understood what needed to be changed. It wasn't the journey itself, but a series of small choices that had steered them toward disaster. As the pivotal moment arrived, Eli focused all his will on his younger self, guiding him to choose a different path. The effect was immediate and subtle. His friends questioned his change of heart, but they accepted his decision, and the group altered their plans. The world around Eli shifted again, the stream of time carrying him forward. He witnessed the ripple effects of his choice, the way it altered the lives of those around him, and the new path his life took. It was a path free of the guilt and pain that had burdened him, but not without its own challenges and sorrows. The garden's lesson was clear. Every choice has its consequences, and altering one moment can change everything that follows. As the current of time brought him back to the garden, Eli felt a deep sense of peace mixed with melancholy. The timekeeper awaited him, its gaze penetrating and wise. "You have changed your past and shaped a new future," it intoned. "But remember, the time you spent here, the time you used to alter your path, has been taken from your span in the world. Your journey in the garden is not without cost." Eli nodded, understanding the weight of his actions. He had gained a second chance, but lost a part of his life in the process. Yet, as he looked around the garden, at the beauty and mystery that surrounded him, he felt a profound connection to the tapestry of existence, to the ebb and flow of time, and the countless lives intertwined with his own. With a heavy heart, but a hopeful spirit, Eli prepared to leave the garden. He carried with him not just the memories of what had been changed, but also a deeper understanding of life's delicate balance. The Garden of Time had offered him a gift, a lesson that he would carry forward, that every moment is precious, every choice significant, and the path of life, with all its twists and turns, is ours to navigate with care and courage. Eli stepped through the archway, leaving the serenity of the garden behind. The forest, once a labyrinth of mysteries and shadows, now seemed a familiar friend, guiding him back to the world he knew. He felt different, changed in a way that was profound yet difficult to articulate. His heart was lighter, freed from the burden of his past mistake, but in its place was a new awareness of the fragility of life and the irreversible flow of time. As he made his way back to his village, Eli pondered the new path his life had taken. The tragedy that had once defined his existence had been averted, but the world he returned to was subtly altered. People he remembered were slightly changed, their lives having taken different courses as a result of his intervention. It was disorienting, yet fascinating, to see the impact of his choice ripple through the fabric of his community. The most startling change, however, awaited him at home. His family, who had once mourned the loss alongside him, now knew nothing of the sorrow that had darkened their lives. Instead, there was a new narrative, one filled with moments and memories Eli had not lived. He listened to their stories, feeling like an outsider looking in, struggling to reconcile the past he remembered with the present that now existed. This dissonance weighed heavily on Eli. He had saved a life, but in doing so, he had lost a part of his own history. The joy of his family's unburdened hearts was a bittersweet reminder of the cost of his journey through the garden. It was a paradox of time travel that he had not fully anticipated. The life he had saved was not the only thing that had changed. He had altered the very essence of his own existence. Eli sought solitude in the places that had once been markers of his old life. He visited the fields where he and his friends had played, the river that had been the scene of their fateful journey, and the old oak tree under which he had spent countless hours in reflection. Each place held echoes of a past that was both his and not his, a reminder of what had been and what could never be again. In the quiet of the night, under a blanket of stars, Eli came to a profound realization. The Garden of Time had offered him a chance to correct a wrong, But it had also taught him that life was a complex weave of choices and consequences, each moment a precious thread in the tapestry of existence. He understood now that to live fully was to embrace the present, to cherish the here and now, with all its imperfections and uncertainties. With this newfound wisdom, Eli began to forge a place for himself in this altered world. He reconnected with old friends, rediscovering them as if for the first time, and he found new purpose in his community, dedicating himself to helping others navigate the challenges of life. He shared his story with those who would listen, not as a tale of regret, but as a testament to the power of choices and the importance of living with intention. Though he never returned to the Garden of Time, the lessons it had taught him remained at the core of his being. Eli lived each day with a deep appreciation for the moments that made up his life, understanding that the true magic of existence was not in changing the past, but in shaping the future with wisdom, compassion, and courage. In the renewed tapestry of Eli's life, a curious event unfolded that would challenge his understanding of the garden's lessons and test the resilience of his spirit. As the seasons changed, a drought beset the village, the likes of which had not been seen in generations. Crops withered in the fields, wells ran dry, and a shadow of despair fell over the community. Eli, now a pillar of strength and hope for many, found himself at the forefront of efforts to aid his neighbors and seek solutions. It was during this time of hardship that Eli encountered a stranger, a traveler whose presence in the village was as mysterious as it was timely. This stranger spoke of a place beyond the forest, a valley where water flowed abundantly, suggesting that salvation lay just beyond the reach of those brave enough to seek it. Yet, as Eli listened, a sense of unease grew within him. There was something familiar about the stranger, something that tugged at the edges of his memory, reshaped by his journey through the garden. Driven by a mixture of desperation and hope, Eli decided to lead a group of villagers to find this promised valley. They ventured deeper into the forest than any had dared since Eli's own quest to the garden. Along the way, Eli couldn't shake the feeling that he was being led not just to water, but towards another, more profound discovery about the nature of fate and choice. The journey was arduous, testing their resolve and their faith in Eli's leadership. Yet, under his guidance, they persevered, drawing on the lessons of resilience and hope he had learned from the garden. Finally, after days of travel, they emerged from the forest to find not just a valley, but a scene that took Eli's breath away. A vista overlooking a sprawling landscape where time itself seemed to swirl and dance, reminiscent of the garden's influence. In this moment, Eli understood the true purpose of their journey. It wasn't merely the quest for water that had driven him. It was a deeper need to understand the interconnectedness of all choices, the web of possibilities that spanned beyond the immediate crisis. The valley, while offering a solution to their plight, also served as a metaphor for the endless potential paths one's life could take, influenced by both the seen and unseen choices made along the way. The group returned to the village, not just with knowledge of the water source, but with a renewed sense of unity and purpose. Eli's leadership and the success of their expedition became a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of communal effort and the strength found in facing adversity together. As the village worked to harness the resources of the valley, Eli spent many nights under the stars, reflecting on the mysterious traveler who had set them on their path. He realized that the stranger had been a catalyst, a force of change not unlike the garden itself, guiding him to a deeper understanding of his place in the world. Eli's journey had taught him that the fabric of life was woven from both the grand gestures and the small acts of kindness, that every choice contributed to the shaping of the future, not just for himself, but for his community. He saw now that the Garden of Time was not just a place of personal reflection, but a symbol of the universal experience of growth, loss, and redemption. With this realization, Eli dedicated himself to nurturing the bonds within his village, fostering a culture of support and shared responsibility. He became a storyteller, sharing tales of the garden and the lessons it held, not to glorify his own experience, but to inspire others to see the beauty and potential in every moment, to understand that while the past may shape us, it is the present we must embrace with courage and hope. In the heart of the village, as the community began to thrive once more, Eli found himself at a crossroads of a different kind. The lessons of the garden, now deeply ingrained in his spirit, had prepared him for many challenges, but none so personal as the one he faced now. Love, in its most unexpected form, had found its way to Eli, stirring within him emotions he had not anticipated. Her name was Lila, a woman of quiet strength and profound kindness, who had come to the village in the wake of the drought, drawn by stories of its recovery and the man who had led them through their darkest times. Lila, with her gentle ways and deep, thoughtful eyes, became a part of Eli's life almost without intention, their friendship blossoming into something deeper as they shared in the work of rebuilding the community. For Eli, who had spent so much time looking back or planning for the future, Lila represented a presence that anchored him firmly in the present. She taught him the joy of simple moments, the beauty of a shared sunrise, or the peace found in silent companionship. Yet, as their bond grew, Eli felt the weight of his past, the years lost to the garden, and the fear that his journey through time might somehow distance him from the possibility of this new happiness. It was during a quiet evening, under the vast canopy of stars that had witnessed so many of his reflections, that Eli shared his story with Lila. He spoke of the Garden of Time, his quest to change the past, and the price he had paid in moments of his life. Lila listened with a heart open, her acceptance and understanding bridging the gap that Eli had feared might separate them. In Lila's embrace, Eli found not just love, but a shared wisdom. She reminded him that while the past shapes us, it is the choices we make in the here and now that define our path. Together, they realized that the true gift of the garden was not in the ability to change what had been, but in learning to live with a full appreciation for the present, cherishing each moment as it comes. Their love flourished in the midst of the village's renewal, a testament to the power of healing and the strength found in connection. Eli and Lila became partners, not just in life, but in leading their community, guiding it with a vision of hope and resilience. They worked to create a space where every individual, regardless of their past, could find a place of belonging and purpose. As the seasons changed, Eli saw the reflection of his journey in the world around him. The Garden of Time had offered him a chance to revisit the past, but it was his experiences, the choices he made, and the love he found that truly transformed his life. He came to understand that time, with all its complexities, was a gift to be embraced, not feared or regretted. In this new chapter of his life, Eli found a balance between the wisdom gained from his journey through the garden and the simple, profound joys of a life shared with Lila. Together, they sowed seeds of hope, love, and community, nurturing a future where the lessons of the past informed the promise of tomorrow. The story of the Garden of Time, once a tale of a young man's quest for redemption, became a legacy of learning, love, and the enduring strength of the human spirit, passed down through generations as a reminder of the precious, fleeting nature of time and the power of living fully in each moment. As the village prospered, the tales of Eli and the Garden of Time wove themselves into the fabric of daily life, inspiring all who heard them. Yet, amidst the harmony and growth, a challenge loomed on the horizon, one that would test the bonds of the community and the strength of Eli's leadership. A neighboring village, struck by misfortune and envy, cast covetous eyes upon the prosperity and unity that Eli's village enjoyed. Tensions grew as incidents of theft and conflict arose, threatening the peace that had been so hard won. Eli, with Lila by his side, faced a dilemma that had no easy solution. The wisdom of the garden, with its focus on individual choices and consequences, seemed ill-equipped to address the complexities of communal strife. Eli pondered the situation, seeking a path that would lead to peace without compromising the values that had guided their recovery. He realized that the solution lay not in the might of confrontation, but in the power of dialogue and understanding. Drawing on the lessons of the garden, Eli proposed a meeting with the leaders of the neighboring village, offering an olive branch in a time of growing distrust. The meeting was tense, with years of grievances and misunderstandings laid bare. Yet, Eli spoke with a sincerity and openness that gradually softened the hearts of those present. He shared the story of his journey to the Garden of Time, emphasizing the lessons of empathy, the importance of each moment, and the transformative power of choices, not just for individuals but for communities. Moved by Eli's words and the evident prosperity of his village, the leaders agreed to a truce. In the spirit of cooperation, Eli and Lila spearheaded initiatives to share knowledge and resources, fostering a sense of unity and mutual benefit. Projects that had once seemed impossible, like a canal to share the valley's water, became symbols of their collaborative effort, bridging the divide and nourishing both communities. As peace and prosperity spread, Eli marveled at the unfolding of events. The garden had taught him that every choice carried a cost, but it had also shown him the boundless potential of those choices to sow seeds of change. The conflict with the neighboring village had threatened to undo the fabric of their lives, but through empathy, patience, and the willingness to understand, a new narrative had been written. Lila, ever wise, reminded Eli that the strength of a community lay in its ability to face adversity together, to transform challenges into opportunities for growth. She saw in their actions a reflection of the garden's most profound lesson. That time, with all its trials and triumphs, was a canvas upon which the story of humanity was etched, ever-changing and beautiful in its complexity. In the years that followed, the alliance between the villages grew stronger, becoming a beacon of hope for other communities facing similar strife. Eli and Lila's leadership, guided by the principles learned from the garden and their own journey, inspired a movement of reconciliation and cooperation that spread far beyond their borders. The legacy of the Garden of Time, once a personal journey of redemption, had evolved into a collective story of resilience, unity, and the enduring power of making choices that honor the interconnectedness of all lives. Eli's story had begun with a quest to change a single moment, but it had blossomed into a testament to the ability of shared moments to change the world.